Good evening. I am honoured to have been the Sir Edward Dunlop Cancer Research Fellow from 2012 to 2016. I'm a clinician scientist and I hold an appointment as a medical oncologist at the Royal Melbourne Hospital, Royal Women's Hospital and at the Peter MacCallum Cancer Clinic. I'm also a laboratory head at the Walsh and Eliza Hall Institute of Medical Research. And as a clinician scientist, my everyday work involves me traversing back and forth between the clinic and the lab bench again and again. This prestigious fellowship is aimed at a time in career building when there is scope to do something new and something big, something that has the power to change the trajectory. Indeed, it should be something big, requiring 5 years to pay off, because that's an unusual position to be in, and you shouldn't underestimate the benefit that you can gain from such a long period of funding. I was working in the field of ovarian cancer, having noticed that the survival rates really had not changed much at all, but I'd come from a background of an interest in cancer genetics, which some of you may know as the Angelina Jolie gene or the Angelina Jolie effect. These are the genes BRCA1 and BRCA2. And in fact, we'd learned a lot more about breast cancer than we had about ovarian cancer. Ovarian cancer was still being treated as one size fits all, and yet it's actually a whole spectrum of different types of cancers. In 2011, when I wrote this fellowship, there were no preclinical models that really accurately reflected the human disease. My previous training had been in lymphoma and in breast cancer, where we were very used to having high-quality models, particularly animal models. And I decided to work in that area, bringing my previous expertise to benefit ovarian cancer. So during the last 6 years, I have built new models and I've collaborated widely, really engaging with leaders in the field for whatever the relevant issue was for that project. And I've been able to do this because I've had great flexibility. I've had 5 years of secure funding for my own fellowship and also additional funding which covers things that are often not covered in, for example, NH and MRC grant funding. I'm just going to describe one clinical focus briefly. It's been on resistance to the exciting new PARP inhibitor drug. This drug works via DNA repair, which is relevant for almost half of ovarian cancers. And the work over the 6 years led to PBS approval on the 1st of February of this year for the drug olaparib. And I was the nominated expert for that application. This means that certain women with ovarian cancer, those who have inherited a gene change in BRCA1 or BRCA2, are now able to access this new targeted therapy. And for some of those women, they have an extraordinary response. My laboratory was really focusing on issues of resistance, and I'm pleased to say that we've had a major paper accepted in Cancer Discovery over the weekend, detailing one of the aspects that we were working on. For a slightly different aspect, we've recently had a clinical trial with funding of $1.6 million approved by AstraZeneca. In addition to the ovarian cancer work, I have been closely involved with consumers in medical research over many years. And one message I got very strongly from our consumers was that there were other rare cancer subtypes, like the ones I've spoken to you about for ovarian cancer, that were not covered by research. There are many Australians dying of a rare cancer without access to evidence-based treatments or even involvement in research. So as a result of that, I identified the need for better national and international infrastructure and have been building that over the last 3 years. I was able to leverage the funding I received from the Dunlop, receiving 3 NH and MRC project grants, but then philanthropic funding, which has also been transformative. The Stafford Fox Medical Research Foundation heard me speaking about my ovarian cancer preclinical models on Einstein A Go-Go one February Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month, and now, some years later, I receive $600,000 per year for ovarian cancer and $600,000 per year for rare cancers, and that funding has been secured for another 5 years. The WeHi Stafford Fox Rare Cancer Program, the COSA Rare Cancer Group, and now the National Cancer Institute of the US are all platforms for ensuring that we build a new future for people with rare cancers. And I wouldn't have been able to do any of that without the flexibility that the Dunlop gave me. If I look at my personal day now, I am able to employ more senior laboratory staff, and that means with a more senior lab that I'm freed up to go out and enrich these collaborations and the potential for how to do things differently, particularly for rare cancer patients. I now have embedded roles in all of the institutions that are relevant for my work and solid international collaborations which really help speed my productivity. This is the freedom and the flexibility that the Dunlop afforded me and will afford other researchers. This is the chance to do something differently and to complete these tasks, which takes a minimum of 5 years, and then means you have the position to be able to go even further. Thank you.